Hey, hey, hey. Running a little bit late tonight, but that's what happens. So, had some stuff come up. I really wanted to talk about this. Um, Secret CIA files say staffers committed sex crimes involving little ones. Why is this not just everywhere? We just got done with Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, which I find really interesting with how it ended. Um, Honestly, I didn't think that they were going to convict her. That was really, really shocking, honestly. Um, Still not even sure what to think about it. Although the fact that none of these other people that have been implicated in any of this have been brought in or questioned, talked to. I mean, there's more than enough to be able to bring Bill Clinton in, talk to him. Like, he flew on the Lolita Express 26, 28 times. I mean, how many more times do we need to prove that that man right there is a monster? It is really shocking to me. Um, I mean, if there's any sense of justice in the world, then there needs to be certain cries to bring these men in to be questioned. Prince Andrew has been in the news a few times. Oh, can't believe I'm blanking on his name. One of the most popular men in the world, Bill Gates. He was questioned about Epstein and his connection to him. And man, that was just such an odd interview. I mean, he was all clammy, stuttering a lot, a bunch of ums and ahs like I'm doing right now, which I find it pretty interesting. So let's see. Over the past 14 years, CIA has secretly missed credible evidence that at least 10 of its employees and contractors committed crimes against little ones. Though most of these cases were referred to U.S. attorneys for prosecution, only one of the individuals were ever charged with a crime. Okay, so these are the people in the position of power to be able to go after criminals, and these cases. The evidence were handed over to prosecutors. And they just sat on them. Why? I don't know. I don't know who we need to talk to. Obviously, protesting doesn't work unless you have a certain agenda that the state backs. So that makes sense. But if you're actually speaking up against these people, I just don't understand why more people aren't saying anything. Um, as I've gotten older, just talking to friends, talking amongst family, acquaintances, everything, plus seeing everything in the news, it just kind of seems like this stuff is just everywhere. Um, I mean, these people are nuts. They're committing one of the most unspeakable acts, and it's truly vile. And yet they keep holding these positions to be able to actually do something, make a lot of change in the world. Nothing gets done, and I just don't understand it. Money laundering, theft, larceny, I guess, fraud, all of these other things. Of course, these are crimes, and they should face some sort of punishment for this, or God, at least get fired, right? But we're talking about one of the most deplorable, just unhuman things that you could possibly do. Nothing's happening. It's terrible. I just don't understand why there's not more being said about it. So, we've got a couple more things, probably going to bounce around just a little bit. There's a lot going on these days. Let's see. Got a couple of things here in the wings. So, let's see, where is this? Here it is. Okay. Just getting this pulled up real quick. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if this works. Trying something out that I've never tried on this before, so that should be interesting. Oh, hey, I can do it. All right. So, speaking of Bill Clinton, let's look at this. Something kind of interesting, considering what's going on in the world these days. This is from 1995, I believe. I was just talking that whole time and I was muted. I have no idea. It was wonderful. Well, in case anyone didn't hear, if at any point in time this channel or any other gets taken, by all means, find me at risetoliberty.com/free speech. I'm always over there. Spicy Twitter for as long as that lasts. I'm not really sure where I got muted or if I had been muted this whole time. But definitely go check out Zero Hedge. I highly recommend them. I check in on them. I mean, if it's a super, super busy week and I can't spend much time doing much of anything, 2-3 times a week, just flip through at least the first page of articles, and I always find something interesting. So let's see. Move on to the next little thing I want to bring up. We're going to be kind of a short stream. First and last of the year. So that will be interesting. Got a lot of big things in the works for the coming year. Been trying to set things up. No matter even if I get YouTube wiped away, Twitch, any other streaming platform I'm currently on, there's always going to be a backup. The first of the year, I will be launching a email list. I highly recommend anyone and everyone to go sign up for it. In this day and age and of censorship online, I couldn't recommend it more. Go sign up, get a free gift, 15% off at our merch store, and you get to help spread the message of liberty. You get to make sure that we never get disconnected. Also, I make a pretty important promise that no information will ever be sold. I hate spam. Not going to spam your inbox. I'm going to curate my email list the way that I wish others would curate theirs. So, highly recommend that. There will always be updates about where I am, what got censored, why, things like that. So, make sure and stay in touch. So, back to Zero Hedge. A lot of the lying that's been going on. I think this is kind of interesting. Read this and just laughed. We are in the midst of a crisis of the sickness, the flu. Go ahead and see for yourself. We need to lead the way with science, not Donald Trump's record of hysteria, xenophobia, and fear-mongering. He is the worst possible person to lead our country through a global health emergency, Biden said in February 2020. President Biden may not recall what he said during a 2020 campaign debate last fall, but Americans should. Quote, anyone who is responsible for that many deaths should not remain as president of the United States of America. At the time, the U.S. had recorded 220,000 flu deaths. If the president had done his job from the beginning, all the people would still be alive, Mr. Biden said last fall. So what happened when Joe Biden, the science guy, stepped in? Things went a little bit turbo. Let's bring this up. Interesting, ain't it? This is based upon current numbers right now. And this is based upon the fact, or let's see, let's rephrase that. This is after a very particular treatment has been available. And I don't know about you. Um, doesn't seem to be working. I just we should be seeing the opposite, right? Going up, should be going down. Been a lot of help. But if you listen to Fox, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, whatever, they're all the same. Then you would believe that President fucking Dunce is just doing the best job in the world. But just to repeat this, come on, stop it. No. Okay. Well, just to repeat, anybody who is responsible for that many deaths should not remain as president of the United States. Well, what's his fucking excuse? I don't know. He just admitted that there's no federal solution to any of this. States need to figure it out for themselves. We're going on into almost 3 years of this. Almost like we should have done that from the very beginning. So what? We've wasted almost 2 years, and God, I can't. I'm not sure exactly what the figure would be at this point. I'm sure somebody can find me if somebody knows exactly how much money we've wasted federally on any of this flu ultra nonsense. Please let me know. Which also leads me to believe, or not believe, leads me to remember, if anybody ever has any better information, anything that you want to counter, please feel free to message me. You can reach me at admin@risetoliberty.com. Feel free, send a message over, send some articles over. Let's have a debate. If you really want, we can get you on the next live stream, if it's going to be interesting. So yeah, until I see better information, this is what I've seen, and this is a fucking joke. This is a waste of time. People's lives have been ruined. People have lost their entire livelihood due to the government coming in and deciding for all of us, making choices for us, that somebody is essential or not essential. That right there should just piss off enough fucking people. Oh, no. You're essential. You're not essential. You get to lose your job. You get to keep your job. You can't go out. You can't buy groceries. If you do go out, you have to, oh God, just slather yourself in hand sanitizer. It doesn't even help anything. It's airborne. That's how it's contracted. It doesn't. Hand sanitizer, you don't pick it up from fucking surfaces. Whatever. God, I wish I would have invested in any hand sanitizer company before all of this started. Hand sanitizer or masks. Got anything. Man, I wish I would have thrown $1,000 into any of this and just seen what happened. Talked to a few people that have put some money into certain stocks like Pfizer, Moderna, things like that. before a lot of this got super heavy, and boy, I wish I would have. No shame. No shame in that. So once again, if anybody has any better information, feel free, pass it along. We'll bring it up here on the show, next live stream or something. I'll squash it and show you why you're wrong. Just for the record, just so this is out there, I'm not some Trump fan, especially the more that comes out about him. I mean, he is slimy. He's a real estate mogul out of New York. I mean, the guy's not dumb by any means. He knows what he's doing in many, many areas. He's been successful. He's lost it all, been successful again, brought it all back. Like, I'm not saying it was legitimate every time, but he's done it. He's more than most of his critics have done. So, got to take that into account. But the point is I'm not some sort of Trump lover. Not going to be humping Trump's leg. He's a joke just like the rest of them. Every little bit should be questioned. And I just find it interesting. Recently, kind of made the news, which is not surprising, that he was recommending the ultra flu shot to everyone. And everyone's been booed, or everyone has booed him. He's received a very, very negative backlash for it. He came out and praised Fauci, or it wasn't Fauci, praised Biden for complimenting him on Operation Warp Speed. Trump praising Biden because Trump got, praised for something that he did. Okay, well, that just shows me his level of narcissism can not be matched. Period. Nobody can reach his level of narcissism. It's unfounded. And then I saw an article recently where it said that Fauci was, I can't remember the word he used, basically that Fauci was surprised that Trump got such a negative reaction out of his followers. And then that shows Fauci how against this treatment his followers are. Instead of, making him realize that, maybe they're a little bit more serious than we thought, then maybe let's reevaluate the situation. He just his response was basically, well, now we know exactly how far we're going to have to push things. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, so don't take me at word for word. Should have had that one ready too. Oh well. But there is this one interesting clip that I found. There's several more that I found. Of course, risetoliberty.com/free speech, and you can find them. Let's see, let me bring it up for you. Another interesting clip. The man himself. Let's see what he had to say. And this was November 12th, 2008, I believe. So let's see what type of a slimy monster this motherfucker is. Wow. This is a man that just a few years later would go up against her, call her some of the craziest things. Absolutely just, oh man, just, I do miss his insults. I got to admit, I'm not a fan, but God, I could go for some mean tweets right now. Oh, they were great. I'll never forget Pocahontas. That was just one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. And her actually releasing the records of her test. Oh my god. So things like this is exactly why I don't trust a lot of what he says. I don't believe in Russia. That was fucking nonsense. The Peter Steele, I believe, the Steele dossier. I believe Peter was his first name. Um, Mr. Steele. Uh, he's been in trouble. It's been found that Steele dossier was completely fabricated and funded by the Clinton campaign. So I don't know if all of a sudden he just that the Trumps and the Clintons all of a sudden just got bad blood because they were running. My theory has always been that in front of the camera, they act. They're all friends. It's political theater. Behind camera, you see things like that. They all hang out together. They all go to dinner together. Their kids and grandkids go to school together. They're all intertwined and it's so incestuous that it's just I just don't trust any of them. And I don't understand why anyone would. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about me. They care about them and theirs. And you know what? I don't necessarily fault them for that. What I fault them for is that their benefit comes at our detriment. That that's unforgivable. As much as I don't like these people, I would never go out of my way to harm them to be able to gain a much better life. That's just I can gain a much better life without stepping on people, screwing them over, hurting them on the way up, breaking up families. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've got a conscience I wouldn't be able to lay my head down at night and be able to actually sleep if I had done and was doing some of the things that these people are responsible for. So I don't know. It's really interesting, but just few years. She was a fine woman. I know her husband. They're fine people. Oh, okay. Let's see. What about that? Okay. Hopefully that works out. Should sound a little bit better. Where was this last little thing? I'm going to wrap up here soon. Still got a couple of days of work ahead of me. So, by the way, just a piece of advice. If you ever get some weird transaction on your card, your credit card, you just made a purchase or something, try and contact the merchant first before you contact customer service. Just little piece of advice. If they can't help you out, by all means, call customer service. But if you can get something figured out with the merchant, please do. Okay, let's see. Couple of quick little clips here. Mm. A very dangerous woman. Um, let's see, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Lena Wen, Dr. Lena Wen. I assume she's paid by CNN because she's on so often. Let's not forget, CNN also employs pedophiles. So, you know, that lends a certain amount to their credibility. Also, another thing that seems to be ignored, pedophiles everywhere. I was saying the other day that you can't swing a pedophile without hitting another pedophile. So wait, gives me an idea. I'll be back. Let's see. To follow up with previous clip. Okay. Just for the record, I'm not anti medical treatment by any means. Polio, yeah, sounds great. Sign me up. Um, am I willing to just take any treatment without any question? Fuck no. I don't have the exact number right in front of me. Another thing I should have had up. Medical malpractice was number or one of the number one killers. Top three, definitely within the top five killers in the United States several years running. So why would I not question any of this? Because they spent so long in they spent so much time in college learning these things. Okay, I get a certain amount of that. Yeah, maybe if you go see an oncologist, maybe you shouldn't question every little thing with a fine tooth comb. There does need to be some amount of trust that you put in these people who did spend such a long time learning, most likely destroyed their bank account, um, have dedicated their lives to the pursuit of healing people. But this idea of just question or not questioning these people just because of what? I'm not even exactly sure what the argument is to not question these people. Um, it's a oh, what is it? It's an appeal to authority. They're an authority on this subject matter, so there's no way that you should ever question it. It's like, okay, that's actually not how science is done. It's especially not how medical science is done. Also, you have every right to ask questions. I mean, where this idea of not being able to ask questions because doctor, like, no, 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 no. Not sure where this lie came from. I hadn't heard it my entire life until just maybe the past 3, 4 years. A lot of things have been coming up like that. So, kind of just stay on the same subject, but switch gears just a little bit. Another very interesting clip. This, I don't know what I can say about it. Honestly, I'm just gonna share my screen and play it. There it is. Okay. Um. Oh, what do I? What the fuck do I even say about that? Um. Holy hell. So this technology does exist. Now, I will say this: everything is okay. Can't say everything. Can't be absolute. Vast majority of everything in this world has always been started with the best of intentions. Um, just because we can doesn't mean we should. So, based upon what I'm seeing here, who's talking about it, the fact that there's an ingestible microchip, uh, I mean, draw your own conclusions as to how that type of technology could possibly be abused by somebody with bad intentions. The possibilities are endless, and it's just I'll leave it at that. Too much more, and definitely get taken down. So let's see. That will also be on the Telegram channel. Feel free to check that out. There's a lot of really interesting stuff I've been able to find. Of course, not all of it that I agree with, but it's always once again, it's good to be able to challenge your own beliefs. And the interesting thing, I've had some discussions with people who are politically on the opposite side of myself, and they've accused me of certain things like how do I put it? Only only spreading information that validates my beliefs. Um, can I say that I've always been free from that? I think that that would be completely unfair to actually say that I've never done that. I'm sure I have. Um, the information that I talk about or that I come across is not information that I want to actually be true. Um, sometimes I do like putting information out there to have conversations about to see if there's any other information to see if anyone can prove me wrong because sometimes I don't want it to be right. Some of these things are really, really terrible. To think that certain people could actually be capable of some of these things, I don't know. As I've gotten older, I've definitely gotten more. I always get empathetic and sympathetic mixed up. I've definitely become more both over the years. Not that I didn't have any to begin with. It's just that I don't know. When you're young and there's a whole lot of very self-centered, care about yourself a lot more. So growing up, going through things, become more concerned with the needs and feelings of others, and just the whole thought that some people are just absolutely capable of the most heinous things in the world. It's really difficult. So no, I don't like creating an echo chamber or only dealing with information um, that confirms my bias. I actually try to challenge myself I also try to challenge people who have access to the same information to be able to like, let's discuss it. Let's try and pick this apart. Let's see if it's wrong. Let's see if it's just hoopla. And if it's not, then the question really becomes like, how do we deal with this being the world that we live in? Kind of stringing it together, piecing things together. I was actually on a very interesting podcast not that long ago, uh, with a friend of mine. It was the Turn Leftist podcast. It's a bunch of super lefties, and oh, it was interesting. It was good. It was good. Um, there was let's see, one, two, three, four. There was four people from their side, one person from, or me and one other person, defending libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, minarchist, just that side of the political aisle. The rest of them were Marxist, Leninist. There was one leftist anarchist. It was interesting. Um, Enjoyed doing it. We actually do plan on doing a part two at some point in time. It definitely drained me. It was hard to deal with that many dirty commies. Yes, I enjoyed it, but still think they're dirty commies. So let's see. I'm just trying to find something real quick. Let's see. A lot of information to dig through. Mm. You know, now that Maxwell is behind bars, found guilty on 5 of 6 charges, I don't understand why the sixth wasn't applied, but take what you can get. I really, really hope she just starts singing. Like, sing Little Jailbird, please. Just for the record, there's there's lots of people out there stating that because she is now locked away, that a lot of these files and a lot of this evidence is now sealed to never be talked again. That's not true. Um, I'm not sure where that lie comes from, but it's not true. So if anyone tells you that, don't believe them. All right. Yep. Yep. Okay, I thought I was going to be able to find this easy, but apparently not. Mm, okay. Oh, let's see. What time is it? Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here in just a minute. if I can find this or not, and then I'll just give my final thoughts. Yeah, not there. I gotta say, I'm actually really impressed, fairly shocked that the UK government is giving such not only direct but accurate information about the maximum flu. It's genuinely impressive considering all of the other misinformation, the actual propaganda that just gets spread around. I was just thinking about that the other day. They don't really hide a whole lot. I think they just really bank on the fact that most people aren't going to actually sit and read these papers. So in actuality, they're probably just thinking that people are too dumb or uninterested because they've got their football, their soccer, they've got their beer, they've got their bread and circuses. So why pay attention to some boring medical research paper? I think they really, really bank on that. Okay. Doesn't look like I'm finding it. That's a bummer. Going to be a good note to end on. Actually, here's something interesting. I'm actually going to end on this. I'm going to talk about this again because this is a little much to cover. Let's see. Let's get this pulled up. Mhm. So, coming up, um, this is something that the CDC's been actually really quiet about. They are doing away with the PCR test, the test that's been responsible for confirming that everybody that's been tested up to this point worldwide has been suffering from mega flu. And I just find it really, really interesting that it's not being covered more. That just under the cover of night, they're just going to move to a different test. Why? Why exactly is that, and why is it not being highlighted? I wonder. So let's dig into this just a little bit before we wrap up. The genetic sequences used in PCRs to detect suspected superflu and to diagnose cases of illness and death attributed to superflu are present in dozens of sequences of the human genome itself and in those of about 100 microbes. And that includes the initiation or primers, the most extensive fragments taken at random from their supposed genome, and even the so called target genes, allegedly specific to the new superflu. The test is worthless, and all positive results obtained so far should be scientifically invalidated and communicated to those affected. If they are deceased, to their relatives. Stephen Buston, one of the world's leading experts on PCR, in fact says that under certain conditions, anyone can test positive. So I find that really interesting. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole article. I am going to take this, let's copy this. Okay. There we go. Just posted it in the comments. Snag it up before any of these tech giants just wipe it out. You know, I'm only an armchair doctor, an armchair virologist. Kind of had to learn the entire field within the matter of 2 years, only because to be able to argue back against it. So, of course, I might not be as well trained as somebody who spent 8 or 9 years going through medical school. Um, I have yet to find any information that refutes this. That seems to be halfway plausible, halfway logical and reasonable. It's really hard to find accurate information regarding things like this. So, information like this, plus being connected to the fact that the CDC is suspending use of the PCR test randomly, and the fact that it's just not a bigger deal. They've actually recalled it due to ineffectiveness. They are dropping, or they have dropped the amount of time recommended to quarantine, and they're all doing this very close to each other, and nobody's really talking about that. So these are the kind of conclusions that I'm drawing based upon believing my senses, believing my eyes, seeing what's going on, what the other side is talking about, and seeing information like this. I am open to being disproven about this particular information. So, anybody got some good information to prove this wrong? I'm all ears. Send it to admin@risetoliberty.com, and I'll bring it up on the next live stream. So, yeah, I just don't know what to say. The fact that these things are invalid, the inventor of the PCR tests have come out and had come out. I believe he has passed as of late. Several interviews with him admitting that if the cycle threshold on these tests are too high, then you can pretty much get a positive test result out of anybody for almost anything at all. So look into the cycle threshold at what they were running, especially at the initial start of all of this. They've slowly backed off. But even for the past 2 years, the cycle threshold on these tests were way too high. Another aspect to that is the fact that you even have to have a isolated virus to be able to calibrate the cycle threshold in the first place. Otherwise, how high do you know to set it? Once again, correct me if I'm wrong. Please provide any information. I'm always open to having my mind changed. But the last I heard, nobody in the world has been able to isolate the super flu in any laboratory setting. Maybe China can. Um, CCP looking at you. Maybe you could provide it to the rest of the world. Um, I don't I don't see how any of these tests could be considered valid. Um, I don't know how any reasonable or logical person could look at that and say, well, of course they didn't set the test properly. They don't have anything to test it against. And yeah, all of these tests are accurate and those all of those results are totally the truth. So once again, draw your own conclusion of where I'm the kind of message I'm pushing there. Ultimately, I think the message is really just ask questions. Um, if you are starting to feel too comfortable with something in your belief, challenge it. Always be questioning. Find different information. Look at the things, especially look at the things people tell you not to. If somebody tells you not to do something, well, I'm sure you're intelligent enough to know what you really should and should not do. But as if it's reading a piece of information and people are telling you not to, that should be the first piece of information you read. Doesn't mean it's going to be good, but there's a reason why they're trying to shut it out. Once again, good ideas don't require force. If you want trust to come back, if you want hesitancy to dissipate, 100% transparency. No lies, nothing hidden. You need to have these discussions, these open discussions about these topics. Because if you shove them into the dark, into the fringes, then you're never going to be able to actually disprove the things that are wrong. The fact that these conversations are being pushed into the fringes raises a lot of red flags to me. If you're so right, if you have the truth on your side and I'm the one that's wrong, why are you so scared of talking to me? You should be very capable of destroying whatever belief I have with much better information. But you're unwilling to talk. You're unwilling to review what information I have. Why is that? I don't know. Seems pretty damn fishy to me. But the illusion is failing. It's crumbling all around these people. And the people pushing certain things like this, um, a lot of this harm that they keep pushing, that they want to keep happening, that they are making money off of, they are losing their grip. However, these people will not go down without a fight. They have backup plans. It's a good time to research as much information as you can. Hey, grab a few extra, canned goods when you go to the grocery store. I know the value of the dollar is dropping practically daily. Thanks Trump, thanks Biden. You guys are great, doing a lot for the economy. Um, yeah, I mean, you should already have it on hand. But you know what they say, the best day to start preparing was yesterday. The second best time is today. So, might be a good idea to have some extra food on hand. some extra water, maybe, a little bit of extra medicine, things like that. Um, Always willing to have discussions like this. Probably actually be covering a lot of that stuff in the first live stream of the new year. That's either going to be tomorrow night or it's going to be, let's see, Saturday night. Not sure which. Got a family thing to do coming up here soon. I'm going to be sitting playing Cards Against Humanity while having a few drinks and going over Epstein connections. Sounds like a blast to me. Might even do an Instagram live from that. So be on the lookout for that. Anyways, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Went a lot longer than I was expecting to, but I was just having fun. Just having fun chatting, hanging out, getting stuff off my mind that I've had, floating around up in here, up in this gigantic head of mine. So yeah, I think we're gonna end it here. Go check out the podcast. I've had some really, really great interviews. Got some good ones in the works. Got some good appearances scheduled. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a big year. And no matter what, I will not be silenced. There always will be Rise to Liberty podcast somewhere. I recommend going to risetoliberty.com, risetoliberty.com/free speech. Those are the two places you'll always be able to find me, where I'm at, what I'm doing, what's coming up. I will be launching the email list here in the next week or two. And definitely sign up for that. You will get a free gift and 15% off in the merch store, which is risetoliberty.store. We currently have a special piece of merchandise, risetoliberty.com/blue dress. I will be removing it from the store. So if you want it, go get it. Portion of the proceeds will be donated to SaveTheChildren.org to help fight child trafficking. So got about a week left before I take that off. Anyways, never really sure how to end these things. Go check out the channel, check out the interviews, and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, leave a like. Leave a like on the video. That really helps. So, and on that note, I'm out of here. Keep an eye out for the next one. See you guys.